Good morning, Year 2. It's Miss Addy. Our learning question for maths today asks us, can I organise information into a pictogram? Our steps to success say, I can read information and display it as a pictogram. I can use my pictogram to compare information, and I can answer questions using my pictogram. Our first star word is pictogram, which we learned about yesterday in yesterday's lesson. We also have the word information and the word data, which we've been learning about. We've got the word compare because we can use our pictogram to compare the information and data, which means we can see which has the most and which has the least. So think back to yesterday's lesson. What is a pictogram? A pictogram is a chart which uses pictures or symbols to represent numbers. Sometimes we can call a pictogram a pictograph. So these are charts where we're using pictures or symbols rather than numbers. Pictograms are very helpful because they're very easy to read. We can look at them and instantly be able to compare information. Some pictograms where the information can be displayed horizontally, which means the pictures go in this direction. And some pictograms, the information can be represented vertically, which means it goes up gradually, one by one. Here is an example of a pictogram. You can see that they're collecting the number of fruits that children have chosen. So on a pictogram, you will find the items or the objects. So on this pictogram, the items are the fruit names. Then there will be pictures drawn to show each amount. And then you might also see a key. Now a key will show you the value of each picture. So in this pictogram, each picture shows what one child has chosen. Sometimes keys don't always represent one, sometimes they represent more than one, and that's what we're looking at today. This is another example of a pictogram, and you can see that this pictogram is looking at what children chose as their favourite animal. So the items going down are the different animals, and then there are pictures to show the number of children that chose it. In this pictogram, the pictures are of children, and one picture equals one child. So nobody chose a goose as their favourite animal because there aren't any pictures for that item. But if you look over at snake, you'll be able to see two pictures of children, which means two children chose that. Pictograms are very helpful because they help us to compare. We can look at it and instantly see which has the most and which has the least. Once we make a pictogram, we're able then to interpret the data. What does interpreting data mean? We learnt about this yesterday. Interpreting data means working out what the table, chart, or graph shows and being able to answer questions about the information. So we're looking at pictograms today. And when we interpret the data, that means we can answer questions, we can find out more information using the pictures to help us. Here is a pictogram of children's favourite colours. Now in this pictogram, we're using symbols to help us. And the symbols are coloured, so it's even more helpful. There isn't a key at the moment. We're going to put a key there. So this is our key. So the last keys we've looked at have said one person. So one picture equals one person. This is different. This is a scaled pictogram. Can you say that? Scaled pictogram. Because each symbol represents two children. So one circle, one counter, means two children chose it. So let's start by first looking at how many children chose red as their favourite colour. Remember, each red counter represents two children. So that means two children chose it, not one, but two. So we're going to count up in twos to help us. So find the red part of the pictogram and count upwards, so vertically in twos. Are you ready? 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 children chose red as their favourite colour. Let's have a look now at how many children chose blue as their favourite colour. So have a look at the blue part of the pictogram, and you might notice something a little bit strange. I can see 3 blue counters, 3 blue circles, but on the one at the top, it's a half counter. What do you think that might mean? That means it's only half of 2. What is half of 2? It's 1. Good. So if we see half a counter, that means it's not representing 2, it's representing 1. So let's find the blue section of the pictogram, and just like last time, we're going to count up in twos, and then we're going to stop when we've counted the full circles. So 2, 4, 6. 6, and then we've got another half, which was 1, which is 7. So 7 children chose blue as their favourite counter. It's a little bit trickier with using a scaled pictogram because we have some half numbers to work out. So let's have a look at the green part of the pictogram and see how many children chose green as their favourite colour. You might notice again there is half a counter. That does not mean 2 children chose it. That means 1 child chose it. So we've got 2 green counters, 2, 4, and half a green counter, which is 1. So 2, 4, 5. 5 children chose green as their favourite colour. Let's count how many children chose yellow as their favourite colour. Again, you might notice there was a half counter at the top. What does that mean? Good, it means 1 child chose it, not 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 counters that are yellow. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And then half a counter, which is 1. So 8 plus 1 is 9. So 9 children chose yellow. And lastly, let's count how many children chose pink. I don't have any half counters, so this is easier to count now. So 2, 4, 6. 6 children chose pink as their favourite colour. That was quite tricky to work out because each counter represented 2. So we needed to work out what those half counters represented. So that was a lot trickier using a scaled pictogram. We can now use the pictogram to help us interpret the data. That means answer questions about it. So which colour was the most popular? That means which colour did most children choose? Have a look at the pictogram, you should be able to see. Good, it was yellow. Remember, pictograms are helpful because we can look at them to find out the information. Counting them does help, but if we look at it, we can find out quicker. Which colour was the least popular? That means which colour did less children choose? So looking at the pictogram, I can see green is much shorter in the pictogram. It didn't go up as high, so green is the least popular. Which colour was chosen by 8 children? This is tricky because it's not saying which colour has 8 counters, because remember, each counter is worth 2. Good, it was red. Red was chosen by 8 children. How many children chose blue and pink in total? What do you think this question is asking us to do? It's asking us to add because we've got the word total there. So we need to add the amount of children that chose blue and the amount of children that chose pink. So we need to look at our pictogram to work that out again. 7 children chose blue as their favourite colour and 6 children chose pink as their favourite colour. This means that my number sentence is 7 plus 6. What is 7 plus 6? Can you work that out? Good, it's 13. So 13 children chose blue and pink in total. How many more children chose yellow than pink as their favourite colour? So this is a comparing question. So we need to look at the number of children that chose yellow and then the number of children that chose pink and work out how many more children chose yellow. So how many extra children chose yellow than pink? So 9 children chose yellow and 6 children chose pink. So my number sentence is 9 take away 6. We're working out the difference. What is 9 take away 6? It's 3. So 3 more children chose yellow as their favourite colour compared to pink. How many fewer children chose green than blue as their favourite colour? This means we need to look at the number of children that chose green and the number of children that chose blue to help us work this out. Fewer means less, so we need to know how many fewer children chose green. 7 children chose blue and 5 children chose green. So our number sentence is 7 take away 5. Again, we're working out the difference. What is 7 take away 5? It's 2. That means 2 fewer children chose green than blue. So just to remind ourselves, a pictogram is a chart which uses pictures or symbols to represent numbers. We can use pictograms to help us interpret data, which means we can answer questions about the data, about the information. We can create pictograms to show us lots of different types of information. So we can make a pictogram all about what children's favourite animals are. So looking at this pictogram, you can see elephants are the most popular because there is the most amount of pictures of elephants there compared to anything else. And bears are the least popular because there aren't any pictures of the bears. You could draw a pictogram to show a survey of everyone's favourite foods. You could draw a pictogram to show how children get to school. You could even draw a pictogram to show where people are from, which country they are from. This pictogram you might notice looks a bit different because the pictures are going horizontally instead of vertically, so they're going a different direction. You could draw a pictogram to represent what job people would like to do when they grow up. Your task today is you're going to use the pictogram here to help you answer some questions. This pictogram shows us information about children's pets. So the questions that you need to work out using the pictogram are: which was the most popular pet? Which was the least popular pet? How many pets are there all together? How many more children had a rabbit than a fish? How many fewer children had a dog than a cat? Enjoy your task, you two. Goodbye.